The year is 2014. You find this ad on YouTube.
If one stays on, get some Cristiano Ronaldo in.
Ah, cheeky boy.
I mean, somehow this 5-minute commercial was more memorable than the actual 2014 World Cup final. Mario Götze scored the winner in the biggest game of his life, and we all laughed at him because he got a boner next to his hot wife, but hey, times are different. But that's pretty insane, isn't it? How some ads can turn real life things that can shape our culture. So I had to ask myself, how can some ads be bigger than the games themselves? When did ads in football begin? And can somebody please tell me when they end? And sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, but I think we can all agree, mostly shit. It sent me down a rabbit hole of shirt sponsors, signboard ads, the war between Nike and Adidas, and kind of Puma, but not really Puma, and the commercials that made all this shit seem like this was worth it. So this is the story all about how ads took over football and accidentally created art. Or did it? They say hooks, they keep you watching, so that's why I put that in. Also, please subscribe. I don't want to have to ask again. Thanks. It began in the early 1900s with signboards on the perimeters and in the stadiums. Whoever owned the stadium put up whatever sign they damn well wanted, you know, something like cigarettes, smoke them long and dry, they're good to feed your newborn child and lose weight. Speaking of cigarettes, they'd also put playing cards in cigarette packs to promote football as a fun little sport to all those kids who do packs of Winnie Blues a day. And then the 1960s arrived, and with that arrived television, which gave birth to things like the pitch side sponsorships, allowing brands to feature throughout games in between shots of everyone rocking the same "Baba put a colander on my head" haircut. And up until the 1970s, player kits were clean. You'd get the club's badge, you'd maybe get the shirt logo, and that's that. But in 1973, Eintracht Braunschweig in Germany ran out of all their money. So Jägermeister, the brand famous for popularizing the word regret, and also for helping populate the earth with one-night stand babies since 2012, thanks to Jaeger Bomb, said to, sorry if you're born in 2012, we all got a story. They said, "We got you covered, no sweat." And Braunschweig was like, "Are you sure?" And Jägermeister said, "Well." So they found a loophole in the rules at the time that said you could only have your club logo on your shirt by changing the club's logo to Jägermeister. Those cheeky fucks. I mean, why couldn't they bail out Juve? Anything else would be an improvement on that dumb dog ass, stink ass, jade disaster they got going on right now. But this became a slippery slope. In England, they all said, "Nah, no fucking way you can," that's not an English accent. "Nah, no fucking way you can put your sponsor on your shirt." But in '76, Kettering Town had the first ever English sponsor on their shirt. One of the biggest companies in the world at the time, Kettering Tires. They got into some massive trouble, so they changed the shirts just to read Kettering Tea, thinking no one would notice, but the FA stepped in and was like, "What the bloody fuck have you done?" and threatened to slash the biggest fine the league had ever seen at the time. £1,000. That's more money than you could ever earn in your life. Then a year later in '77, FA were like, "All right, fine, do whatever the fuck you want." Then by 1992, shirt sponsors were now the rule and not the exception. And more ads started creeping into the game with every match played. They ran out of room on the front of the shirts, so they introduced sponsors on the back, then on the sleeves, then on the shorts. I'm pretty sure at one point they considered getting Zlatan Ibrahimovic a tattoo that said "Fly Emirates" on it. Perimeter ads also evolved. Don't worry, I haven't forgot about them. In 1993, they started to have rotating perimeter signboards, so you could now show up to 3 different ads at once. 1 year later, Madrid had the LED light up ads in the Bernabeu, meaning now you can rotate as many ads as you damn well please, and one of them was Game Boy. I have nothing to say on that except I like it. Suddenly now you've got the training kit sponsor, the pre-match warm-up sponsor, the naming rights sponsor like Australia. Our nickname isn't just the Socceroos. At one point we were called the Subway Socceroos, but then Subway dogged us with some money. So now we're the Combank Socceroos. Hopefully they don't fucking dog us. Some teams get sponsor greedy like TSV Hartberg in Austria, who ran out of ad space, so they had to add in sock sponsorship. I mean, at which point there's so many sponsors, when do we stop and say, "Hey, I don't even know what company I'm playing for anymore"? I remember the days when Barcelona actively refused sponsors for decades, and at one point they actually paid UNICEF to feature on their shirt. Qatar Foundation offered €30 million a year and told them, "Shh, just say you love the Middle East now, no one's gonna know." And that's kind of when football changed. Now the perimeter ads have special technology where they can in real time change what ads you can see based on your time and location, which means soon we will start having ads that eventually tap into your personal preferences and habit. And honestly, it's strange to be cut and dry about it and say football sold out to advertisements, because it's not that simple, nor is it completely true. Because yes, while in its current state, everywhere you turn you're being sold to, some of the stuff we got in return is magical, for better or for worse. Now, footballers are human-sized billboards, and they typically shill everything and anything that'll throw a tenner their way. I mean, we had Kevin Keegan, of all people, in a road safety ad.
Off you go. Be smart. Be safe.
We had Gareth Southgate wearing a bag over his head in an ad for Pizza Hut after his penalty miss in Euro 96, having dinner with Stu Pearce and Chris Waddle, who also missed penalties in that game, and that's as funny as it is sad.
This time he's at the post. Pizza Hut.
Alan Shearer getting McDonald's, Peter Schmeichel wearing gloves and playing double bass for Dame Pack Bacon, Gary Lineker rejecting all the Spice Girls wanting to have sex with him just for a bag of chips, Suarez acting like if he had a 9-to-5 corporate job and it could legitimately be a really good pitch for a TV series, Robert Lewandowski in every single ad that airs in Poland, Alessandro Del Piero chatting with a literal bird about mineral water, Joe Hart and the Head and Shoulders ads, Messi and whatever the fuck you call this.
Miss.
Blackburn Rovers in an ad that belongs in an SNL skit. Michael Owen in horse racing. Michael Owen for a telecom ad. Michael Owen as a pilot for Dubai Tourism. Dubai's economy is driven by three industries. Michael Owen in Domino's. Michael Owen in Asda. At least all the talking in that one is done by Clive Tilsley. Michael Owen in Lucasade. Michael Owen avoiding attempted murder. I mean, at this point, he has been in so many different ads. He might as well have gotten a tattoo on his forehead that says, "Your advertisement here." Good on you, Michael Owen. Good luck with that Ballon d'Or.
Sorry about that, folks.
With kits turning into billboards, shirt and boot manufacturers decided to turn it up a notch. Instead of ads using football as a billboard, some brands use football as the ads. Two of the most prominent kit and boot suppliers went to war anytime there was a major tournament to be played. For Adidas, they were firmly the #1 shirt and boot supplier for football, and Nike was the young upstart, the disruptor. For USA 94, Nike came out with the Wall campaign, where billboards of footballers would kind of come to life, bouncing balls from town to town, and whoever pitched that idea was 100% back off a bender from an LSD trip, no doubt in my mind. Then in 96, Nike put a bunch of their athletes against literal demons playing in the Coliseum.
Maybe they're friendly.
I didn't even know that this was an ad until I was in my 20s. It's so good. Then came the airport ad. Why didn't my parents make me a Brazilian? Adidas went with the older, tried and tested stuff that was safe for most people, and Nike just kept dropping here after here. And while Adidas tried to be clever with things like footballitis, Nike held a secret tournament to the tune of Elvis Presley. For most people my age, this is one of the first and best examples of advertising actually forcing itself into the zeitgeist and being must-watch. This blew up well before YouTube existed. Eric Cantona's in most of these. He's known for playing with his collar pops, kicking spectators in the face, and making cryptic speeches about science and war.
Crimes will still kill us, but unfortunately, crimes and wars will multiply. I love football.
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
What? Interesting dude. We get The Mission. You get top players like Totti, Edgar Davids, Figo, Pep Guardiola, Thuram, Hidetoshi Nakata fighting against robot samurai to recover a ball. It's much more impressive watching it than it is me explaining it. 04, we got Nike Olé. Ronaldinho gets wrecked by a referee as Brazil and Portugal play in a game before the game around the stadium. Then in 06, Adidas decided to step their game up even more with the Jose Plus 10 ads, where he and his chunky little mate played 11v11 with the best Adidas players from both the past and the present. Then came storming in Nike with 2 words: Joga Bonito. With the rise of video sharing apps like eBaum's World, LazySundays.com, don't look that up. Joga Bonito was a mini series that showcased Nike's best athletes in fun and left field scenarios, like Ibra versus Ronaldo battling in a skill off to the tune of Return of the Trez. We had Rooney as a goalkeeper, Brazil having fun in the change rooms. Not in that way. There was a short biography of Ronaldinho showing that he's still playing like his inner child, and He also looks exactly the same no matter how old he gets. And now it's not just sport brands that want a piece. Now every brand is trying to get theirs. Coca-Cola has been the official sponsor of the World Cup since '78, and since 2014, every World Cup they have their own theme song. I went to the World Cup in 2018, and in one of the stadiums there's a Coca-Cola activation where you can line up to get your own free commemorative Coca-Cola cup. So to entertain us in line, they played the Coca-Cola World Cup theme. It's Colors by Jason Derulo. Thing is, this played on a loop for an hour. So if I ever see him in the flesh, I'm gonna throw hands with Jason Derulo. 2022 and Lil Baby gave us the worst rendition of Everybody Wants to Rule the World. But then Pepsi also wanted to get in on the action. And in 2010, they came out to Africa where a bunch of football stars and famous utopian visionary and Mr. Lonely, Akon, were playing on a pitch with people instead of touchlines and goals, and the people kept moving. Messi bumped his head. Carlsberg had the old Lions ads where old English footballers got together to throw in their boots once more in a lineup that probably could have beaten the 2010 English World Cup team. Let's not lie, bloody beautiful. But it gets way worse. Pringles went on the pun route and introduced Pringles, with Peter Crouch and Nicholas Anelka juggling a can of Pringles into a bin and then doing the robot. Whoever came up with that should either get a raise or be pantsed. I'm undecided. It's very interesting. It's very confusing. And then Ronaldo has some of my favorites. Let's see if I can remember off by heart. Football takes me many places. Hot places, cold places, but I prepare for it all. Castrol Edge, that's burned into my brain. And then there's the cream of the crop, the Shopee ad.
Shopee?
Go Shopee, beep, 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 beep. Buy everything, ding, 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 ding. On 9999999. Super shopping day.
Buy everything at Shopee.
I think about this very often, like how Ronaldo looks like he's being held at gunpoint the whole time. How many takes they would have done to choreograph this, and just after that shoot, he definitely drove home with the radio off.
Beep, 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 beep. Buy everything, ding, 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 ding. On 9999999. Super shopping day.
And he had backup dancers. I mean, look at this guy's face. From now on, if your ad doesn't have Ronaldo acting like he's being held hostage, whatever you're selling, I'm not buying. So we've established that football is basically one whole ad now, and that's fine. Some good, some bad. But some of these ads transcend advertising. They became a legitimate part of football culture. And really, it is thanks to Nike. For them, knowing Adidas had a stranglehold on the game, I mean, they were the ball supplier for major tournaments left and right, Nike had to stand out by sparking movements, which for the most part, they nailed. It's the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Nike drops Write the Future, and it's like a film. Each moment from a star player can change their entire legacy. A really cool look on the intricacies and the small moments that matter in football that can have lasting impacts. The only problem with this ad is all the stars in it, Rooney, Cannavaro, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, absolutely shat the bed in that World Cup. And plus it also helps that this was directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, the same guy who directed Birdman and The Revenant. I mean, they literally hired an Oscar winner to make themselves an ad. I mean, it's not very commonplace, but I know some companies do that. I mean, I know Christopher Nolan was hired for the Shopee ad.
You're garbage, you kills for money.
Buy everything at Shopee.
And then they dropped The Last Game by Nike. And I feel like they only animated this as an excuse to have someone create Ronaldo, Zlatan, and Rooney in a bowl cut, and honestly, I'm here for it. The Last Game is the most watched football ad ever, with over 204 million views on YouTube. And it's a dystopian take where an evil scientist creates robotic clones of players that are boring and soulless, sticking only to tactics and never straying from their stated roles. Holy shit, dude, Nike predicted 2025. Anyway, so the real players, you know, your Ronaldos, your Neymars, your Zlatans, your Rooneys, they team up to save football by bringing back risk and flair and humanity. The amazing and kind of harrowing thing is that Nike made this commercial about commercialization ruining football, literally critiquing the exact thing that they were doing. The clone players represent corporate sanitization, the loss of personality and the rise of predictability. The villains being boring and celebrating the risk takers. It's an ad that's not only fun to watch, but one that, on your drive home, makes you thinking. A lot. Nike in 2022 went full Marvel with the football verse, where they realized, fuck, we don't have any top stars anymore. So in the ad, they port their best players like Ronaldinho, Edgar Davids, 3 Ronaldos, to face off against modern stars like Sam Kerr, Kylian Mbappe, KDB, and Virgil van Dijk. It's good fun. And honestly, all these ads, they're a great time. And it's why the Adidas vs Nike war mattered a great deal to football culture on the whole. They both pushed each other to bring football further and further into the zeitgeist, and it worked. The ads they made literally started cultural movements, and that kind of became the problem. Here's where we're at right now. Football has sold out. Completely. Jerseys are billboards, stadiums are named after multi-billion-dollar conglomerates, and some players have brands so large, they're literally worth more than the entire leagues that they're playing against. But we got these. We got Right the Future. We got The Last Game. Good vs Evil. Joga Bonito. And above all, we got fucking Ronaldo in a Shopee ad. And that's the paradox, right? The commercialization that we've grown to hate, funded and brought to rise for the art that we love. I think more fondly of iconic Nike ads than actual World Cup finals. Joga Bonito, man, I can quote entire scenes of that.
Mes amis, football is like fencing. It's a noble art. This is Zlatan. Can you beat this?
That's burned right into my frontal cortex. The ads became more memorable than the sport. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's just what happens when you mix art and money at the highest level. Sometimes you do get soulless cash grabs. Sometimes you get a 5-minute animated film about clones playing football that makes you feel something. Like, why doesn't Zlatan have a bowl cut? Some of them are the reason I fell in love with this game in the first place. So yeah, advertising ruined football, but it also saved it. And if you ever look at the state of the modern game and think, how much worse can it get than this? Just remember, Ronaldo did a fucking ad for Shopee. Hey look, if you enjoyed this video, I'd love if you subscribe to my channel. I'm thinking of doing more deep dives on football culture, so please let me know if this is the stuff you'd like to see. I'm sure I missed out on a whole heap of ads you'd probably peek at if I missed. So let me know in the comments if there's ones that I've missed. But hey, I got a question for you. If your life was a football ad, what would its slogan be? Let me know in the comments, and by the next video, I'll post some of the best answers if there are any. Anyway, I gotta go. Be good to your mum and dad. Ciao.